This is Gerald Johan van Waas and the educational channel of demonstrations regarding the sounding form theory that you can also find as a separate volume in the development of a word regarding the theory itself. And you also can find some extra associations in scripts and in other associations related with scripts and with the letter combination in the application of the word. The videos are meant as demonstrations how this works, how letter combinations really show you a formation process, show you how every word is directing our minds, the mindset, and as a letter combination, as a structure, is already directing into the directions of what the meanings of the words are intended to mean. And I kept myself a little bit at a distance from the theory itself, and I just gave some demonstrations how you have to think and so on. But since I had already one idiot who was trying to make a fool of me, or just didn't understand it and yet tried to make a fool of everything, I think I have to also explain the theory itself as well, just to avoid these kind of anonymous shouters. And I have the word key here as an association. I will first make it simple, so that that's where some people will be off because they don't know where it comes from. So afterwards I will also tell where it comes from. I have the word key, and I will also explain how this word is already directing itself towards what the meaning is. The K as a letter, in a very simple way, you can say this is a breaking point where you need some change. The A is always related with extensions, and the Y is also referring to that part which is just out of reach. These are the simple explanations, but they come from somewhere. And the reason why the letters mean something comes also from behaviorism order that is rooted in numbers, that is rooted in an order of actually very simple order of three main positions within a form. So the middle, the volume itself, or the edge, and so on. So these three parts are three different ways of thinking. It's in the first position, when the centralized first position where everything is new, it also quite easily fits. When you have too much material, after a while not everything will fit as easily anymore, and you have to adapt. And it's this adaptation process which is the involvement of letters, which are associations in your mind that you have to make adaptations. You have to adapt to these changes. And I have this order of changes very well worked out in my book. So here, okay, I will go also to why these letter combinations will also be exactly what they are, and why they are in this combination also meaningful. I will explain in this video as well. So already here you have the key, where you have this, you want to you could say, okay, I want to go somewhere, I have a point of change, I will try to reach it, and it's just out of reach, but this word key will help me to find that solution. That's what you already can derive from it, but then you can say, okay, that's a fantasy. You already have this as a fantasy. It goes too far, it goes much too far. You can always fantasize something like that. So therefore, I will already explain these letters separately, why they are at the right positions and why they are at the right positions in words. We start with the K. So the first three letters are all centralized focuses. With the A, for instance, you always find your center focus, and you can also confirm everything, every idea what you have. You just add more to it, so you can keep your centralized position. As soon as you have some variations that you notice, you can express them with the next letter, which is the T. And as soon as you say, okay, I'm no longer sure if this still fits, if this still works or not, it's a bit at the edges of my centralized thinking, you are at the letter K, and that's where you have a sort of adaptation needed. And this adaptation is a breaking point. That's where it is. It's a breaking point, this adaptation. You need to adapt somewhere. And if you don't adapt to it well, it will break apart. It will not work. And that's the sense of the K. So what do we have here? If this point, this green dot there, the K position, will not work, it could eventually break apart the centralized thinking, the centralized idea. It will no longer hang together and it will break apart. That's one of the first things that can happen with the K. It's that point where it could break apart. But it could also lead to somewhere else. It could lead you to the position that you say, okay, I can't go further with the centralized position, but maybe it can lead with a slight adaptation to somewhere else. And that's what is also possible in the K. So this is the breaking point where it will work or it will not work. You adapt or you will not adapt. If you don't adapt, it will break apart. If you let it go to somewhere else, you just adapt at that point. So that's great. So that was the first letter in key. So you had we have the solution or you don't have it. And where is the solution? It's in the next letter. In a very simple way, the A is the adaptation to an extension. So you add something extra. You will add something new. You will add you can go from there, let's say. You can go from there and extend it from where you started from. That's what it actually also does at this point. That's a simple way of explaining it. So, and then you have in the extension form, you will find what you want to have. What will you find? You will find the Y. The Y is the region which is out of reach, but you can reach it, or you are at the point of reaching it. You see it at the Y. It's at so it is at the corner. You reach the corner, and you're there. So the Y is there. You're at the corner. You reach the other region. The E sound means it's an insertion. You have the right idea, I do it and I access it and I go to it. That's something you already can associate it with. Is it associative from what you already know? Yes, but it is also grounded and founded in the letters themselves. So I continue. So I had already a little more explanation of the K, and the K itself with the key can also be associated from the key itself, how you use it, how we associate it very easily. You already hear it in the word K. So you have this, you break it into the lock, and you break it already from left to right. So you have already the sound very easily associated. And why is it going to try to break? It's going to break through. If it doesn't work, it will block. These are the two directions of the K. So you break through it and you unlock it, or you will block it. These are again the two positions of the K. But of course, we want to reach somewhere else. So that's what we want to do. But I would even explain the position of the K a little bit better in the position of the theory. In the theory, the first three letters are in the first dimension as well as underneath. And it is, so the first dimension is part of the first three dimensions. The first three dimensions are the spatial orientation. So we start from a spatial orientation in the first dimension, means in a point, in the starting point. But the K has the last position as a starting point. So it is a starting point that is also a breaking point. So we are at the edge of saying also, here I'm not sure if it still adds up, if I can still continue with my centralized position, with my idea how to open the door, let's say. No, maybe I have to be sure that I have the right changes, the right positions, the right whatever it takes. And this is the kind of spatial orientation different from the A. The A is just straightforward, and it will reach its point anyhow. With the K, you're not sure. You have the central position, I have the key, I put it in, and I'm not sure if it will open the door, yes or no, in this central point of position. Do you understand how it is? I think it's understandable. So it will either be a breakthrough or it will block. In just this one point, we want to go to a change in our central orientation, and we want to go further from there. What's the next letter? The A. I will take the letters, the next letters, also in my theory, and I will associate it with a theory. The second positions of letters are in the dimensions of the timed reorientation. So that means when you are in the three-dimensional world and you have there all fixed objects with fixed places, but you can't reach something there in from the fixed position, then you have to go further. So we have to go to the next dimensions. And which are the next dimensions? This is time. This is a reorientation. The reorganization is the change of position, and all related with time or with the extra dimensions, the fourth, fifth and sixth dimensions. In our mind, in our daily life, we cannot imagine dimensions even higher than 3 is already difficult. The fourth dimension is, we know that we need time for it. So there are two positions. There's two positions in the space which we have to reach, and we're going to reach someday or another. This is the fourth dimension, as a matter of speaking. The fifth dimension is the middle part. It is in 2 dimensions in time, meaning that there is something to reach, not just in one dimension from one place to another place, but it's something to reach that has to change form, that has to change the full form. So in 2 dimensions, the time in the time frame. So the 2 dimensions means there are 2 dimensions of form that needs to change, both of them, over time. That's why you need the 5th dimension there, which position is there needed, so which is needed in the word, which is used in the word, the letter A. The A is there in the position in my scheme. So what are the 2 positions on the left, on the right? So the first one is like the O. It needs more space, it takes more space, it will take an extra spatial orientation with O, or it will take an extra association, a frame on its own within the time frame, in a time frame where I have a certain points of where something is forming. This is the difficult explanation this time. If you think that I'm just fantasizing something in when I say things simple, this is the slightly more complex associations beyond it, in the background, which are working in the background. And you can understand it because we know, of course, and we associate it, we see what do we need to get to this solution. For the word key, I need something that my form is changing into the right position, into the right form over time, so that it will try to fit. That's why I need the A. That's why I need the reorganization of the forms in time, and it's over time. I will try to find it someday, some moment or another. I will try to find it. So it is the time to develop the solution, to form the conditions for the solution. When we put it onto the key, we have the key already. With the K, we know there are two positions, which will work or will not work. Now it is the shape itself, the two-dimensional shape, which has to shape itself into the locker. Into the locker, the shapes has to form itself correctly. And when that change over time is done, we have the access to the desired unreachable part, the Y. Okay, let's go to the Y in my theory as well, with the background. So what do we see? Where is the position of the Y? The Y is in the first layer of these extra dimensions in time. And so they are access points. It's the first access point. So it's actually just not much more says like, okay, I need time for it. And where exactly in the point in time is it there? The third position is the doubtful position. So it also means this is the moment, a decisive moment, where I have a change, where I can find a change, or where I adapted to the change so that it will work, so that it will also actually change and that I can reach it. That's the third position, explained very simple. The theory itself, don't go too deep into the theory all the time. Once you have the access and you sense the word and you see, okay, I know where it is and why these letter combinations are directing me into the right position, and I sense how I have to adapt from one letter to the next. More than enough. Right? So the whole theory behind it is a good reference point, but to learn to associate everything from these positions themselves is even a little bit more difficult. Try all the levels if you wish, but don't exaggerate with all of that. You know what the keys, you sense it. Okay, I have it. Oh yeah, okay. Where do I go to? Yeah, what I didn't reach. No, actually, you don't need too much. The simple access point. Everything is also a simple access point. The references, the full mathematical references in space and time, are the complex background, how it works, why it works, and so on. This is not for everybody, and it should also not be for everybody, and so not everybody should be involved in these things too much. But also, don't over criticize me when I making the things a bit more simple, simply because you can I think you could repeat it and also understand it from that position alone, because of these dangers that are lying there for people who would say something. When I keep it simple, I will go back to the theory just now and then, only because of this reason. Anyhow, this was Gerard Johan van Was. There's a website where you can find the list of words that I expressed before. So if you have doubts like how should I express this or that letter, and how does these forms interact, or certain combinations of letters, how do they really interact? I don't understand how it would be done. You can check these lists and pick out the right video to update that part. Okay, thanks again. Bye bye.